Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's video? We have another TikTok leftist. But this one really takes the cake because this is a person who's trying to claim that Hurricane Ida, which is moving through some of the southern states, or it was till very recently, only caused damage because of racism. Okay, she's going to be able to explain it better than I can because she's just talking complete rubbish. As usual, we're going to see what she's got to say. Let her have her, let her say her opinions, and then we'll stop it intermittently to make the points that I feel I need to make. It's just one of those things where, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, okay? But sometimes your opinions, you've got to tell them to yourself first, right? Tell them to yourself to see how they sound before you open your mouth to other people, right? So let's get into this video, see what she's got to say. It's just, if you're prone to high blood pressure, then I would recommend you have your medication nearby. But first, before we get into the video, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell, share this video around. We are conservative commentators, and as such, we are not recommended by YouTube as much as we used to. Though we do have a membership now. You can, for the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can become a member of the Hoggcast. Goes to supporting myself and this channel. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's hear what she's got to say. We will watch it, then go back and play it again and stop it intermittently to make the points I feel I need to make.
There is absolutely no reason why Hurricane Ida should have done that much damage to Louisiana and Mississippi and along the path that it's going to take. And part of the reason why is because there is infrastructural and environmental racism in a lot of minority and low socioeconomic communities. There's no reason that the southern border of Louisiana should still be struggling to figure out what type of infrastructure and technology they can use to prevent minority communities from being destroyed. And on top of that, not just being destroyed, but also having to put in their own resources to rebuild their own community. Like, wake up and smell the flowers, people, okay? There is race embedded into every decision in the United States of America, and the sooner that we realize that, the sooner we can stop people from dying because of things that could have been prevented.
Horrible. Just in my opinion, just way beyond the pale. So we'll go back, watch it again, and I will make the points I need to make.
There is absolutely no reason why Hurricane Ida should have done that much damage to Louisiana and Mississippi and along the path that it's going to take. And part of the reason why is because there is infrastructural and environmental racism in a lot of minority and low socioeconomic communities.
Okay, so she's saying that there's infrastructural and environmental racism. Okay. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, because every week we seem to find a new thing, a new label. And you notice that these labels are never good. Never this person's this champion. This person is that advocate. It's always, well, this is infrastructural, this is generational, this is institutional, and it's always an ism and an ist, isn't it? So she started off by saying that Hurricane Ida is committing a crime. Okay, so we have started with the premise that a hurricane is able to form its own opinions and is deciding deliberately to make its way through minority neighborhoods. Okay, that's the starting point, and it's only gonna get worse from there.
There's no reason that the southern border of Louisiana should still be struggling to figure out what type of infrastructure and technology they can use to prevent minority communities from being destroyed. And
you can't prevent anything from being destroyed when it's in the path of a hurricane. Okay, I think maybe she has only looked, and people do this often, Not just, anyone can do that. People from my background, people from your background, anyone can do that, right? And can do this, which is you focus on the things that only concern yourself. And as such, she has obviously done this and formed the opinion that hurricanes only ever move through her community or minority communities. Because saying if a hurricane blasted its way through an upper middle class Bel Air community tomorrow, I don't think she would care. I don't think she would even notice. She probably wouldn't even read it. You could argue that it's not even her fault. You could argue that she is a product of the times we live in, and how today we live in a society where mainstream media types and people who are left-wing generally will take their worldview from whatever the mainstream media tells them to. So if CNN says hurricanes are racist, then hurricanes are racist. Okay, if MSNBC says that there is generational infrastructural isms and ists in the motorways and the railways, then there is. And then it's left to the rest of us to pick up the pieces, because a lot of these people do find their way into the public sector. And then because they have such firm, concrete, but nonsensical opinions, they then foist them onto other people, especially in schools. That hotbed of, I never thought I'd say it, but radicalisation in Western schools.
And on top of that, not just being destroyed, but also having to put in their own resources to rebuild their own community. Like, wake up and smell the flowers, people, okay? There is race embedded into every decision in the United States of America, and the sooner that...
You might think that, because it is clearly something that matters to you more than anything else. You might think that, okay? It doesn't make it true, right? So you said about communities having to pay out of their own pocket to rebuild. A hurricane's an act of God. A lot of insurance, not all, I know there is some insurance for, quote, act of God, but not all. That's why you often find, for example, Barack Obama, I can't remember what the hurricane was called, I think it made its way through Louisiana back in his heyday, and he used taxpayer-funded money, you could argue quite rightly, to repair the damage done by a natural disaster. But if that money's not forthcoming, who else is going to repair and rebuild your community other than the community itself? Why look outside of that to build your community? Build it from within. Don't look at that as a bad thing that your community had to build your community. Look at it as a good thing.
That we realize that, the sooner we can stop people from dying because of things that could have been prevented.
Hurricanes can never be prevented. You can't stop an act of nature. Okay, so I think she's bringing something in to, if it's even a debate, I'll use the word debate, when it just doesn't need to be. I'm struggling to even offer anything else, because I don't know what do you say to someone who has came to a conclusion like this? Is it even remotely possible to bring them back? That's the end of the clip. So we have, let's recap here. We have a young, what I believe must surely be a young activist, probably university. She's probably at university now. She's probably learnt this from the university she's at. She is well steeped in the concept of being a victim, not only of people that look like me, of course, because we're meant to be like the bad guys and everything, but now hurricanes too are racist, tornadoes, tidal waves. But have you noticed that nobody else talks like this? Look what happened with the nuclear power plant in Japan that was damaged by that tsunami. You notice how stoically they took it. Right, they didn't blame anyone. They didn't say, oh, well, it's generational. It's systematic. They just got on with it. They just got on with first making it stable. They rebuilt their entire cities. I'm sure you've seen the footage. The tidal waves. They just washed over everything. I did. I've found it extremely frightening, but also just overawed at the power of nature. And that's the point. The power of nature. You know, instead of getting on TikTok and lamenting environmental racism, whatever that is, you know, you spoke about rebuilding your community, so just go and rebuild it. You know? Anyway, look, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think of the ideas that this person's bringing forth. Concepts I'd never thought. When I was her age, I never thought I would ever say something. I never thought I'd have to think about something such as environmental racism. Hurricanes. You know, oh, how are we going to stop a hurricane from going through our... You notice how it's going through our community. You notice how she doesn't want to stop hurricanes in general. Tornadoes, tidal waves from harming anyone. You notice how it's all, let's just stop it from going through our community. You know, it's sometimes if you read it in between the lines, you really get to see what someone's about. In my opinion. Anyway, look, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.